Hi, this is Aisha. Let's continue chapter number 8 of ICT, that is safety and security. In this video, we will discuss about data security. Data security is concerned with keeping data safe and uncorrupted by restricting the access to your data. Okay, by restricting access to your data, you can keep your data safe and uncorrupted. And it is also concerned with the recovery of data if it has been damaged. So there are some terms used in data security. So what are the description of the terms, what are the effects of that, and how can we prevent? Let's start from the hacking. First one is hacking. Hacking is basically illegal or unauthorized access to computer system without user knowledge or permission. If someone is using your system or using your data without your permission, that is illegal, and that is known as hacking. Okay, so what can be the effects of hacking? They can delete your data, they can edit, copy or corrupt your files. Your company can be exposed, your data can be sold to the competitors. Okay, it is better to keep your data safe. So what are the preventions of you can prevent from the hacking? Use of firewalls, especially when you are using the computer in a network. Use of firewalls restrict the data traffic. Okay, the data that is you are sending or you are receiving, all data will be analyzed. So better to use firewalls. Use of strong passwords, encrypt your confidential data, and always keep backup of your important information, important data. Next term is virus. Program which has the ability to replicate itself. Virus basically replicates itself and spread from one file to another file or one device to another device easily just by attaching itself to any file. Okay, so it has the ability to replicate itself. It can cause computer to crash or slow it down. Files can be deleted, files can be corrupted. So how you can prevent that? Install antivirus software and regularly update. Regular updation is very important in antivirus software because every time there are new types of viruses in the market. So if you will update your antivirus software, it will be able to detect the new type of virus. If you will not update, then it might not detect the new type of virus. So it's very important to regularly update your antivirus software. Secondly, do not use USB from the unknown sources, and do not click on the untrusted links if you want to prevent from the viruses. Third term is used is spyware. Spyware basically the key logging. Okay, it monitors and log the keys which you press from the keyboard and send that keys to the sender who has installed a spyware in your computer. Okay, so what can be the effects for that? Person can get access to your personal or the financial information. How? For example, you have typed your username, now you are typing your password, so all the keys which you are pressing will be sent back to that person who has installed the spyware on your computer. So in this way he can get your personal or credit card information or financial information. So how you can prevent from this? Use anti-spyware softwares and use pointing devices while entering sensitive data. If you are entering, for example, password or your credit card number, so instead of typing from the keyboard, you can use any pointing device like mouse. You can just copy and paste that words, so it will not be logged. Okay, because you are not pressing the keys, so it will not be logged. So try to use pointing devices, especially when you are using any public device, public computer, or if you are in the network, or if you think your data is very sensitive. So it's better to use pointing device instead of a keyboard. Next is phishing. The recipient will receive an email which looks like legitimate. That is not legitimate, but looks like legitimate. And when the user clicks on the link, it redirects to the fake website. For example, it is just showing the name of any bank. Okay, so but you just see the name of the bank and you click on that, but it is not actually the website which your bank have, and then it redirects you to the fake website. So what can be effects of that? Financial information can be stolen and personal information can be leaked out. Okay, so recipient will receive an email which looks like legitimate, but it is not legitimate. Okay, how can you prevent? Use filter on your email accounts. Always double check the URL. Everyone knows about their banks or any other URL, so double check that is it the authentic one, and email address also, that is it the authentic email from your website, from your bank. So before entering that or before clicking on that link, please double check the URL and the email address. Next is farming. A malicious code installed onto the web server or your computer will redirect user to the fake website. The same thing is happening here, but here the malicious code is installed on your computer or the server, and in phishing you are just receiving an email. Okay, both will send redirects you to the fake website. The effects: financial information can be stolen and personal information can be leaked. So use anti-spyware software and always double check the URL and the email address before entering your personal information. Next is smishing. The recipient will receive a text message SMS which looks legitimate, asked to enter your information. For example, sometimes you got any fake messages that you got this much price, just enter this number or enter your account number. Okay, so this is your fake SMS. So what can be the effects for that? Financial or personal information can be retrieved. How you can prevent? Double check the SMS or directly contact your bank. That do you have such type of scheme? Okay, directly contact your bank without giving information or without replying to that SMS. Next is wishing. Wishing is use of voice message instead of text message, use of voice message which tricks user into calling a premium rate telephone number. Same effects and same prevention are here for wishing. Here you are just receiving an SMS, here you can receive any voice messages. Okay. Next, spam email. Unwanted emails may be sent for the product promotion or phishing scam. Okay, there are both possibilities. So unnecessary traffic flooding the network could make it slower. How you can prevent? Use junk mail filter. Do not sign up for the commercial mailing list, and do not download attachment from the unknown senders, unknown emails. Next, credit card fraud. User is tricked into giving their personal and financial information. There can be many ways. This could be by phishing, farming, or spyware, or smishing. Okay, there can be many ways. Then what are the effects? If you enter your information, unauthorized purchase can be made and money can be transferred from your account to that frauder account. So it's better to use strong passwords, enable two-factor authentication, and ensure website has secure connection. So how you will ensure website has secure connection, we will read next. Now what are the ways how you can make your data more secure? So what are the security methods? There are a lot of different ways. First one is biometric. Records used to identify people such as fingerprints which are unique to every one person. Okay, so it can be of two types: biometric, physiological biometric, and behavioral. Okay, behavioral or physiological biometric. Here you can have fingerprint scan or retina scan, and here you can have voice recognition or handwriting analysis. Okay, fingerprint scan or retina, or in behavioral you can have voice recognition or handwriting analysis. Fingerprint scan uses scans his or her finger. Fingerprints are compared against pre-recorded values in the database. For example, if you have purchased a new device, let's suppose mobile, you have purchased a new mobile. So on first you will just record your fingerprint. Okay, so now for the first time it is recorded. Now every time now when you will just scan your fingerprint, it will compare with the pre-recorded which you have already recorded in your database. Then if you are authorized person, it will open that device. Okay, so what are the advantages? It is easy to use and very high accuracy because your fingerprints are unique. Disadvantages: difficult to scan if your skin is damaged. If there is any problem with your skin or if your skin is damaged, it is very difficult to scan. Second is retina scan. Use infrared light to scan unique patterns of blood vessels in the retina. In your eye there is one part called retina, so it will scan the blood vessels of retina. So no way to replicate itself. It's very highly accurate. Okay, your physiological biometric is more secure than your behavioral. So it is very highly accurate, but it is expensive and very intrusive also. Maybe disturbing for the customers or for yourself also. Next is face recognition. Physical facial features are scanned. So what are the advantages? Cheap and non-intrusive. physical features can change over time. For example, if you are using a new device after a long time, so your physical feature may change at that time. Okay. Voice recognition, user will use speak, which will compare the voice to one held in the database. Just as I have given example in the fingerprint, here you will also first record your voice. Once you have recorded your voice in the database, then after that it will compare your voice with the database. If it will match, then it can give access to your data. So what are the advantages? It is quick and cheap. What are the disadvantages? Low accuracy, because someone else can even try in your voice. Voice could be affected by an illness. If you are ill, your voice could be affected. Another way for security is encryption. Encryption is a process of converting information into a form that is meaningless to anyone except the holders of the key. Okay. For example, if I want to send data to one person, okay, sender A want to send data to receiver B. Okay. So only they have the keys, they can have this information. Anyone else, if try to get that data, they will not get the information. How? For example, I want to send the word hello. I have a key, I just encrypt this word hello. Now this hello word is converted into this. This is now a meaningless form, unreadable form. If someone stole this data, this is unreadable form, unless he has the key also. And how receiver will receive that? Receiver will decrypt that data. Okay, receiver will decrypt that data by using the private key. After decryption, it will get the same message which is sent by the sender. Okay. So sender will send the data by using the public key and the encryption. Okay, encrypted message will be sent to the receiver. On the receiver side, it will be decrypted again by using the private key, and then receiver will get the same message. This is how encryption process takes place. Third way is digital certificates, pair of files that let you create the digital equivalent of handwritten signatures and sealed envelopes. Okay, you can get digitally certified. If your website is secure, for example, bank's website, it must be digitally certified. Digital certificate consists of person's name, email address, serial number, public key, expiration date, and the digital signatures. Next is secure socket layer. This is a protocol for managing the security of a message transmission on the internet. Okay. If you have if you visit any website sometime, there is written HTTPS. Okay, this HTTPS, instead of HTTP, the protocol is written as HTTPS. It means that protocol is secure. The green lock will represent that HTTPS, or the green lock will represent that this protocol is secure, this website is secure. So what is the process to get this secure socket layer? Browser sends request to us for a secure session from the web server. Web server responds by sending over its server certificate containing information about the site, certificate authority, and a public key. Okay. After the browser verifies the certificate, it sends one-time session key encrypted with the server's public key. After that, server decrypts the one-time session key using the private key. Then a secure connection has been established and the padlock icon appears in the browser. Padlock might be of the different color. If it is red, then it means that it is invalid or expired certificate. On digital certificate, we have seen that there is expiry date also. If it is expired, then it will be red. If it is yellow, authenticity not verified yet. If it is white, it's a normal validation, good enough. If it is a green, extended validation, secure enough. Mostly on the bank's website, you will see the green lock with the HTTPS because they are verified, they have the digital certificate and with the normal extended validation. Okay. Next, use of cloud. Cloud computing is basically when data and the programs are stored in a centralized place on the internet, not on your hard drive, not on your any device, but on the internet you are saving your data. Just giving you an example, for example, Dropbox, Google Drive, OneDrive, these are all the examples of cloud computing. Okay. So you are saving your data on the internet, not on your disk. So what can be the issues if you are storing your data over there? Data flows across country borders. means that is not on your device, it is in the country borders, whoever is providing you that cloud storage. Okay. Data storage servers are in other country, laws in that country may be different from US. How can you prevent that? Do not store sensitive information. Do not use your email login or passwords or any other purpose for any other purpose. Okay. Use encryption to protect your data, and read about the storage process of your cloud provider, that what access you are giving to them. Okay, read about the storage process of your cloud provider. Okay, the last term here is used is for forums. A forum is an online place where you can discuss topics with other people of your same interest. One is interested in cooking, one is interested in sports, one is interested in education. So of your same interest or entertainment, so you can have a groups over there. You can discuss any topic with the other people. There are two types of forums, unmoderated and moderated forums. In unmoderated forums, all new topics and replies to that forum will go live immediately. Every person can read and respond at the same times, and that will go live immediately and won't require any moderator approval. So if you are using unmoderated forum, you can reply anything anytime, so it will go live immediately and anyone can read that. Whoever is using that forum will be able to read that one. In moderated forums, all posts are expected to be approved beforehand by the moderator. Means you are commenting anything or you are posting any article or something, you want to discuss something, it will be sent to the moderator first. He or she will approve that, then it will go live. Okay. That is more secure and helpful for keeping away unwanted, rude or inappropriate posts. So if you are using any discussion forums, it's better to use moderated forums instead of unmoderated. That is all for the data security. If you have any question, you can ask me in the comments. Thank you very much for the listening.